let's deep dive into how we can like efficiently monitor our apps. Don't log like every single thing that is happening on your app. In the end, you're gonna like too much information and too much useless information. So here I'm gonna focus on how like you can pinpoint the most important things inside your application, and showcasing all the tools, some tools we know, like Crashlytics, some other things like Datadog and so on, to best achieve that goal. Alright, let's go. Thank you everyone for being here today. I saw a few talks about monitoring yesterday. So now today I'm gonna focus on how you can be efficient in monitoring your Android apps. So as an introduction, my name is Julien SALVI. I'm the lead Android engineer at Aircall, scale-up based in Paris. We are doing some cloud-based fund systems for businesses. I'm also part of the GD program in the Android technology, and I do mostly dev in shorts. Not today. Okay, so quick intro about what we're gonna see. I'm gonna give you a quick introduction and set up the context about what is monitoring, what is observability, and then we're gonna deep dive into some real life sample of how you can be efficient with some monitoring tools like observability services like Datadog or stuff like that. And then I'll quickly wrap up in the end. Okay, let's have a quick intro about monitoring and observability. First, I'm gonna tell you a little story of an application in production. The happy app was quite happy, living its best life in production, but suddenly, something happened. So what could possibly go wrong at this point? What could possibly go wrong? Lots of things. It might be a crash, could be an error, slow startup times, drop frames, unexpected states in the app that leads to some inconsistency in the UI and stuff like that. Some network failure, which maybe also a slow call, the timeout that has been reached, or the request that is making much more time than it used to be. Some braining issues, security, OS device specific issues, and so on. There are many possibilities. So suddenly the apply application was not so happy in the end. And this leads to some angry users. Obviously, if the app does not behave as expected, we're gonna see some trouble. And so without any monitoring, you can get bad reviews, say, oh, my app doesn't work. Okay, doesn't work, but how, where, what is the issue actually? You can also have tons of support tickets, tons of bug fixes in your board and so on. So you have the whole context. You don't have the whole context here. You just have okay, there is an issue. There is an issue in production, but you don't know yet why this is happening. So why using monitoring then? So you can go from multiple angry users to a single angry user. You allow a quick reaction, so you reduce the number of angry customers. You can go also from one angry customer to still one angry customer, but much less longer. Well, that's a thing. But the best thing is to go from one angry customer to an happy user, because we catch the issue soon enough and we fix it on time. So maybe it didn't even realize there is an issue, or the issue has been resolved very quickly. So just an highlight here: monitoring does not fix your bugs. It finds the bugs, but then you need to fix it. So monitoring, we make sure we measure all the relevant things, not all the things. So monitoring will help us like in the debugging of the application and will help us to bring stability to our apps. So real-time monitoring helps us like to quickly identify like any crashes, ANRs, performance bottleneck, and so on, to bring this stability and reliability to your app. Can also like detect performance metrics, so it provides like critical insights about like the CPU usage, the frame rate, the network performance, and so on. So you can have like all the metrics and all the tools to like make your app run in an optimized way. It allows you also like to have some proactive maintenance. With monitoring, you will be able like to detect issues very quickly. So even like the better is like to catch it even earlier than production. But we'll get into it. And this will improve like the whole experience of the app. And about observability, it's about like is in the title, observing a lot of things. And a lot of things, it's like all the important things. So observability like combines all the metrics, the log that you've been sent like to maybe like a third-party service like Datadog, Sentry, or whatever, to provide like the big picture of what is happening at in real time in your application. So mostly in production, but the environment like your user is doing is using every day, or like if you have also some sandbox, some dev environment, it's also sometimes also good like to monitor these environments. So observability will lead like to faster debugging. Like, with observability, you'll understand like the why behind all these issues. So you'll have like the data to say, okay, I saw that like, okay, this payload doesn't like behave as usual. This was like the point of failure of the whole process. And observability will, like as monitoring, will do some proactive monitoring, detect early the issues, the degradation, and so on. Okay, but what's the difference between monitoring and observability? So in short, monitoring is the tool, like the logger, the tech brick you're going to be using in your application to send your data, and observability is a capability. Observability using monitoring to get it simple. Okay, now we've seen like a big like introduction about what is monitoring and observability. Let's deep dive into how we can like efficiently monitor our apps. Okay, so I could like efficient monitoring, like omniscient for what matters, and especially when you want like to be efficient in monitoring, don't log like every single thing that is happening on your app. In the end, you're gonna have like too much information and too much useless information. So here I'm gonna focus on how like you can pinpoint the most important things inside your application, and showcasing like all the tools, some tools we know, like Crashlytics, some other things like Datadog and so on, to best achieve that goal. Okay, so little disclaimer before going forward. This is based on my personal experience with all the tools I've been using now and in the past. So I'm going to take Firebase and Datadog as like example. Firebase with all the suite like Crashlytics, performances, and so on, and Datadog as like the whole observability system. And always challenge and adapt to feature needs. You don't have like to need to stick to what I'm going to show you. You'll need like to do obviously some adaptation for your projects. Okay, first I'm gonna like show you the best of Firebase regarding monitoring and observability. So you probably like all use Crashlytics for quite a long time now. It's the most easiest and simple way like to get some crash reporting inside your application. Like to set up is a very simple plugin, but you can like just go a bit beyond than just like applying the the plugin to your application, and you can send also some custom login to Crashlytics to have like a better experience of the monitoring with the library. So you can log any message or exception as non-fatal issue on the platform. And the thing is, like, if you want like to cross-check sometimes like the crash that is happening on Crashlytics and some logs that you are sending to your observability platform, like Sentry or Datadog, the nice thing, like, if you can set up some user ID or custom keys, like to make the matching much more easier when you are looking into the logs for resolving one issues or multiple issues at the same time. So you can provide like the user ID and add some custom keys, which is like just like a map, some string that you can be pushing to Crashlytics. So that's one thing you can do, especially in terms of configuration, if you have multiple systems to do your monitoring and observability. The default alerting with Crashlytics is email. So you can receive lots of email per day. And it's sometimes quite easy to miss a mail. I don't know you, but I don't check the mail very often. And sometimes I might be late in like catching this velocity alert. Like, okay, there is like a big issue in production. So if you react like maybe 3-4 hours later, it's gonna be a bit problematic for the user. But if you are working like daily with Slack, you can like take advantage of the Slack platform to have a nice integration between Crashlytics and Slack. And the nice thing is that you can configure on the Crashlytics side all the alerts you want like to receive. That will be pushed in a dedicated channel you've been set up before. So new crashes, new NRs, regression, velocity alert, everything is like configurable, and you can like then send whatever you want to your channel. So on the project settings side, you go to integration, and then you have like the Slack integration. There are like many more integration, but this nice integration with Slack sometimes it will help you like to react a bit faster on an issue that is happening in production. And if you want like to have like a full like introduction how you can set up this integration, there's a nice article on Medium about that. It describes the whole process how to do it. So pretty simple, and then you'll define like all the alerting you need for your Slack channel. Another library that comes from Firebase is Firebase Performance, and it's a very nice tool to, especially to pinpoint certain part of your application to do like some real-time performance monitoring. So you'll automatically track some key metrics about like certain feature of your application. For example, in our air-call application, we are doing this kind of stuff to like check if we receive and start the call on time. It doesn't take like much longer than a certain amount of time, so the call starts on time. So it's gonna allows us like to define some custom tracing, like check some data like the startup time or like the rendering of a given screen. So you have a bunch of things that I'm gonna show you. So it's quite simple to do. For example, this is like a simple like a tracing with Firebase Performance. You get like the performance singleton. You define a new trace, start the trace, put some attributes in that, and when it started, like you start the trace, and then at some point you're gonna need like to stop that trace to measure what is happening between the two. So how to do it like in like other parts of your application? At some point you're gonna like start monitoring, and then at some other point stop monitoring. Don't forget like to stop the monitoring, otherwise like you won't have like the computation between the start and the end, and it's gonna be messed up sometimes. So this is what it looks like, and I'm just gonna show you what it looks like in real life. So we have the Firebase Performance here set up in our application. So for example, the classic one is like to have some insight about the app startup time, and you can see you can compare metrics between like what is happening like from all the versions, what is happening for a given version, and the delta between. Maybe you gain some performance, some performance regarding a release like you made, or you can see like also, I implementing a new feature, I refactor some kind of stuff regarding like I don't know, the splash screen or whatsoever. And if you see a spike, that means like, okay, maybe we degraded the performance in terms of startup time. So you can like daily check, and it's still in real time. So you can pinpoint like, okay, at some points we made some mistakes. So you can check then what is like the point of failure for that given spike. Or you can check also like the rendering of an activity, some like custom monitoring as I show you, and for the rendering you get all the graph regarding like whatever metrics you want like to watch. And for example, you can like define new metrics to see, like say, okay, I want like to say maybe like the call detail activity, is it good? Gonna select a metric like say, okay, frozen frames, and you can create like a new dashboard like that. Simple as this. So quite easy to use, and the setup on the application side is very easy. Okay, back to the slides now. So now, like I've shown you how like you can get the best of Firebase, and now I'm gonna focus on like the critical path logging, which is like one of the most important things when you want to be efficient for your application. So I'm gonna start with like the 3 golden rules. So focus on your user impact. So you need like to identify all the processes that are the most visible to the user. So in our case, it was like the path of starting a call. Starting a call is the most critical path in our application. Or sending an SMS. That's something that shouldn't fail. We need like to make sure everything is like on track, and we need to monitor all the point of failure inside this path. So identify what is the most visible for the user, and the most feature like usage. So the feature that is being used the most by the user. Then you need like to prioritize all the things, pinpoint the point of failure, and so on. So yeah, pinpoint the components. Like most of the times, like it might be like a network issue. Some third-party library that has been failing, or like your own code as well. Like you forgot, like, oh, this piece of code never gonna end up in the else thing. You never know. And also monitor like all this kind of function. Like it's critical for your user. So once you like you identify like the key things inside your your critical path, and then you start monitoring all the things, all the relevant things. So for example, our call flow at Aircall comes like with lots of things. So we have like third-party library with Twilio, Pusher for real-time communication. We communicate also with our internal API, can be REST, can be GraphQL, and we also have our code in our application. So maybe there is like a point of failure regarding like the data source, the repository, or in the interactor when I build my business logic. Or maybe it's on the UI state, the mapping is not good, so I sent like a very like unwanted screen to the user, unwanted state. So you need like to, when you identify the critical path, identify the main point of failure inside the whole system. So, for example, like simple as in a data source, when I want to fetch something, I can get a failure from like the call itself, or like the mapping can be wrong, the body can be empty. So this will lead like to the failure of like the whole system in the end. It can be also like I was like telling like if something, sometimes like you don't care but else, okay, we won't do anything, but I'm sure it's not gonna get there. So never say never. When identifying all the pain point, you might end up in like something being null or being in the else branch of a condition. So in that case, make sure you monitor the right thing at the right time. And when you end up in this kind of stuff, make sure like you send the right properties to your system, so you can like quickly identify, okay, this is at this point, and this is maybe why the thing is failing. So for example, also log if you are using some call store, reduce the call reducer thing. Log the state at a given time. Maybe like the configuration change at some point, so we need like to make sure like the state is good, and all the dependency, let's say maybe some permission that has been maybe cancelled or whatsoever, we need to make sure that everything also on the side that is linked to our current state works perfectly. And also you can do some preemptive logging, and do not forget like to match the properties that you really want like to know at this point. Like so, for example, for us, like just before starting a call, we need to make sure like all the permission that has been granted to the user, and we are on the right configuration before starting the call. So this is much more like in the informative part, not an error, but we need to make sure we have this kind of like information before starting the call. So like logging is kind of an art, let's say. The art of logging, like defining the right structure for your name, for your events, the log severity, and having some meaningful payload. That's like the core three things like to master the art of logging. The naming is very important. It's gonna help you like to pinpoint exactly at first sight what is happening and where it's happening. So keep the semantic like you do for your versioning, like major, minor, and patch, but apply like to event logging. So for example, even like we are like okay, the main service is Twilio. This is the core. The core part of Twilio, and there is an error. So we can quickly identify, okay, there is an issue on the Twilio core side, and this affects the user. Also make sure like you use the right severity. Don't log everything as error unless like it's a real error. Otherwise, in production, like you will end up like looking for all the errors, and everything is an error. So sometimes better use like a warning for things that maybe affect a bit the system, but is not critical. So you have to like make sure you use the right severity for the right log. And also don't send debug log in production. And regarding the meaningful payloads, you need like to send the relevant information in the event system. You really need like to be efficient in defining this payload, because you're gonna use that to debug in production. Like it's gonna help you like to pinpoint the failure. So for example, like I was telling, like you can also use emojis. That's like quick insight at first sight. Like you can see what system is pinpoint. Like for example, if I go to Android Studio with that, I'm gonna see, yeah, this is like the aircall application. Check, running in production. So I can see quickly, okay, some logs related to Datadog, that's a dog, like related to, okay, this thing is related to whatsoever system we have. We have some pusher events, some GraphQL things, some tracking regarding like analytics and stuff like that. You can quickly, like at first sight, see, okay, it comes from this and this and this service. Also, we did like our own logging experience in our application. We did our own logger. We don't rely on any Timber or whatsoever third-party logger. And at some point, we were like wanting like to send some like much more precise data to Crashlytics to pinpoint like where exactly the issue was happening. So we did some nice stuff with like all the stack trace elements and stuff like that. So like spreading like all the thing inside the stack trace to pinpoint where in the class was the point of failure, in which line and so on. So it was a nice thing like to do, like to enrich a bit like the logging experience on the Crashlytics side. Another thing is like network monitoring. That's a major point of failure. So you need to be efficient when monitoring this part. So network requests are also like almost the main source of failure on the app side. We have like we need to make sure everything is running perfectly in order like to have like all the needed data to run your application. And if you are using a HTTP, you can take advantage of like the interceptor in order like to monitor the network. So how we can like effectively monitor our network. So few rules, like do log the path, the method, like if it's a post, a get, or whatsoever. Few headers, the body of the request, obviously. If there is like a failure in the data inside the body, you need to know what was the point of failure. Log the status code, the body, header response type, error type of the response. We need like to make sure, okay, if it's a 200, and there is a failure inside the body, we need like to check what is happening inside it. And obviously don't log sensible information, especially if you like rely on some third-party thing. Like don't send any tokens credential to any Datadog Sentry or Crashlytics things. This is called a security leak. So please redact them before sending anything to the service. So how we did it on our side, like we use some nice annotation thing and KSP code generation to conceal the response or the request. So I won't like go into detail, but for example, like when you want like to send a refresh token, there is like some sensitive information inside that. So we don't want to send that to Datadog. Like doing short, I'm not gonna like deep dive into the code gen work with KSP and so on. So, but in the end, give us like some configuration, and we can like conceal the request or the response or both. So when we do like the interception in our interceptor, so we want like to log all the like HTTP calls that goes through our OKHTTP client. So we get the request, we get the response, and we log really what we need: the base URL, the path, the method, some headers, and the body if it's not concealed. So same for the response, we like pinpoint everything we want, like also defining if it's an error or if it's a warning, like to make sure on our dashboard is like well defined, and we can identify very quickly what is wrong on the app. And speaking of dashboards, I'm going to show you how we did it on our side regarding like all the dashboard things on our observability tool. So when it comes to observability services, it comes like to having like much more visual data of the thing. So there are like many observability tools like Datadog, Sentry, Embrace, Bugsnag, whatever you want. But you need like to take into account when you go to one solution or another, there is a cost. And the more you log, the more it's going to be like money-centric for your solution. So make sure like you don't send the earth twice to this kind of services. Just assess what you need. And the dashboard are really there like to monitor in a much more visual way the data you are sending to the service. With that, you're gonna also like set up some trigger to like having some alerting in whatever the solution you're gonna take. So you're gonna like identify the key metrics, make your dashboard with the data you've been sending. Keep it simple in the end, because you really need like to see sometimes some peak on some peak on the dashboard. So you need like to set the threshold to trigger the alert. That's a very important thing. Like it's good to have some dashboard, but if they are useless or you need like to check it every 12 seconds, that's not your job. You need to automate this kind of alerting. So define your threshold and iterate along the way. Maybe at the beginning you did define it like a bit low or a bit high. So along the metrics you'll be sending and processing, adjust the threshold. So you can have like some in Datadog, so some kind of like dashboard like this, bar charts or like much more classic charts, and you can see like okay, maybe there is some spike regarding like the thing. If it goes above a certain limit, I can trigger an alert that will be pushed in Slack, in Observability, whatever the service you're using. Okay, another thing. I just can also show you what is like our dashboard looking with Datadog. So we have a mix of like nice informative data regarding like users, in which version they are, which location, and so on. And much more critical things like okay, if there is like some audio issue with the calls, at which points, what kind of failure we have regarding the API, the REST API or the GraphQL one, like what kind of metric regarding Twilio as well. So you can define like all the relevant things that is critical for your business. And one last thing like that is quite important for me in like being efficient in monitoring is like you need also to monitor in your dev environment. I call that preemptive monitoring, because the best thing is not shipping any problem in production, or catch it early enough it doesn't get to production. That's the most effective way, like to avoid pushing bad things in production, and we need like to anticipate them. But well, hard like to anticipate things, so at least try it. But like we can monitor like some very good things in production, so early enough before it gets bad. So how to do it? Mostly monitor your crashes like in your dev build or QA builds or whatsoever. Like set up also some alerting regarding the dev environment. Get some reports like unit tests, UI tests, screenshot testing. These things can pinpoint some failure before it gets to production. So if you have some failure in test, yes, have a look. It might go wrong if you push that to production. Also, do monitor the request, the network request, even in dev mode. You can use this nice library called Chucker. I'm gonna go show a demo after that. to see what's happening in real time inside your device. And also, one good thing is like having some testing sessions before going to production. For us, it helps us like to catch up like lots of things before it goes to production. So testing with our QA, testing all the critical points, critical paths, to make sure like everything that has been modified is running as usual, as expected. So yeah, you can set up like some reporting. Like for example, we get some reports every time like the tests are done regarding the UI test. See, okay, what is flaky, what has been failing, what was the reason behind that, and so whatever. So that's an idea to get a bit preemptive on the future production monitoring. Yeah. So about Checker, that's a very nice library and very easy to use. It will allow you like to monitor your REST or GraphQL request inside your application. And it's basically like an interceptor you plug into your OK HTTP client. Nicolas Corti, the main maintainer of the library, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2, made a very nice introduction of the 4.0 version of the library. And to use it, very simple. You define your checker collector, all the configuration you want, and then define like the interceptor, which header you want to redact. If I want like to read the response body, or do I need like to create a shortcut inside my application to open the thing, and then you just inject this interceptor to your HTTP client, and that's it. I'm gonna show you a quick demo. So we are on Android Studio. I'm gonna link my device. So like for example, I go to another page that has been triggering some stuff on the side. So you can see like every single request regarding if it's like GraphQL or REST that has been triggered inside the application. And you can see, okay, it took some time. You can check the response, if it's good, if it's bad. You can also like pinpoint the time. Here, like you see, like the request took almost 6 seconds. Maybe there is like something wrong on the server side. So you can like send feedbacks like this to your backend team to say, okay, is this just the dev environment, or is it like a real issue that is happening on your side? So that's a very, very nice tool, and also you can pinpoint like maybe some duplicated requests. Maybe you send like 2 or 3 times like the same thing, and that's an issue you can like optimize. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm gonna wrap up all the things. Some key takeaways about like monitoring and observability. Don't log the entire app. It's useless, and so log wisely and effectively. So pinpoint like the critical path of your app. Log all the critical passes. It's very important. Identify the main point of failures. And do not forget about alerting. Alerting will like enable you like to react much more quickly than before. And don't forget about like the performance monitoring, because sometimes it's not just like a complete failure. It's just like a slowness or something like that. So we need to make sure everything is running perfectly. And about observability, assess your need, like to choose which solution fits your needs. Don't forget like the cost impact about certain tools. Create efficient, relevant dashboards. Don't create dashboard just to have dashboard because it looks nice. It has to be useful for you and the company. And also define the right alert and the right threshold for the dashboard. And yeah, better alerting sometimes too soon than never. So thank you so much, and happy smart monitoring.